ladies and gentlemen. Leonetti!
Thank you, everybody. Thank you. Very nice. Thank you. Today I got a very special show. I got two magnificent guests that you don't want to miss. It's a little bit different scenery this morning because I was at the Tuscany and I had the best pasta fazool I've ever tasted in my life. So you better sit down, relax, don't touch that dial. We'll be right back. Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Michael Leonetti Variety Show. Great show today. I got two very, very, very special guests. Okay, well, before I go any further, let me talk about my sponsors. Once again, Mr. Bob Kellogg, as always, thank you for Kellogg's, for always standing behind me. Bob, you're the best. Can't wait to see you in November. I also want to mention we don't do WeLink. WeLink is no longer with us. My brother moved on to something different, which is very exciting. You know, he sold out that end, and he got something that I think is great. And it's called A Healthier, Better You. And you're going to see a commercial on that. And that's something that I think that everybody should really look into, because everybody's health today is not so good. As you can see what Bobby Kennedy is doing. He's trying to make things changing and make things better for not only our children, but ourselves as well. Let's not forget the Vegas Voice. We want to thank them for teaming up with me as one of our sponsors, and we're working hand in hand together. And it's really great, and I love these guys. These guys are terrific. Also, let's not forget my book, ladies and gentlemen, Deceit, Corruption, and Cover-Up. It's all over the country. You can buy it anywhere. It's Barnes & Noble, Book Babies, and it's doing very, very well, which I'm very excited. I really thank Book Babies for putting that together, and I'm very, very excited about that. So I want everybody to just relax. I want you to sit back. Don't forget to share, to like, and to subscribe. It's very important to share, like, and subscribe, you know, because like I said, this is a different type of a show. It's a well-rounded show. I try to bring a lot of great people in, but this week is something very special because it deals with health and deals with the past. And you're going to love this one. So I want everybody to sit back, don't do anything, but listen to one more thing I got to say. November 8th, and that'll be at the Roman Cathedral, the Orthodox Roman Cathedral. I have Twice as Nice doing a tribute to Motown. I have Sal Santiago, my very special friend, Monique Maffa, all right, who is going to do a tribute to Connie Francis, and naturally myself and the guys in the band. It's a black tie event. There's only a few tickets left. So like I said, if you're interested, pick up the phone, make a call, get your reservations. Sit back, everybody. We're ready to rock. get a hold of this one. Can't wait for this. We'll be right back. Mike Leonetti here. We're back, and we're back with a very special guest. And this is, get your pencil, get your paper ready, because you don't want to miss what he has to say. I want to say hello to Mr. John Picanzi. Did I say that correctly?
Yes, sir, absolutely.
Johnny, welcome, buddy.
All right, sir.
Man, we go back a long time, me and you.
Yes. Dinner at your house, entertainment after the dinner. It's like, it's beautiful.
You know, I got to tell you something. Today, and I'm looking at this anti-inflammatory, right? A lot of people today, as you all know, when I was a kid, years ago back in Philly, Italian family, they didn't have pesticides. We grew our own vegetables. It was a whole different ballgame. But today, what's happening today, especially with the younger generation, all right, and you can see what Bobby Kennedy's doing, it's a lot of problems.
Sure.
Okay, now you have something that can make a difference in people.
Absolutely.
All right, which is very exciting. So when you brought it to my attention, I said, Johnny, I got to have you on the show to tell my audience exactly what we have. But you have something you wanted Alexa to say?
Yes. I mean, if I can ask your wonderful audience too, if they take a few moments to check on their Google, AI, Alexa, and ask the question, how important is it to know your omega-6 to 3 blood ratio? Ask that question. Omega-6 to 3 blood ratio, how important it is. And I got a quick blurb here from Alexa. Here's the answer I got. And
so if they go to Alexa, they're going to hear the same thing?
Not necessarily, because sometimes it comes up with different answers. AI, it just switches up, but it's going to be basically the same.
Okay.
Answer. All right, here we go. See.
Alexa, can you repeat the question and the full answer you just gave?
The question was, how important is it to know your omega-6 to omega-3? The full answer I gave was, knowing your omega-6 to omega-3 fatty acid ratio is important for health. The ideal ratio is between 3 to 1 and 1 to 1, but most Western diets have a ratio of 20 to 1 or higher. This imbalance can increase the risk of chronic diseases like heart disease, cancer, and autoimmune disorders.
That's amazing.
Thank you.
That's amazing.
Yes.
Do you feel as though that what's happening today, the foods that they're doing, because I'm on the phone a lot.
Yes,
I scroll, I see a lot of different things. I'll never walk into McDonald's again. I was a McDonald's guy. I'm going to tell you something. The stuff that I
used to work there, but go
did
ahead.
you really?
I was a kid,
right.
But go ahead.
The stuff that I hear about, I would go, like, I'll give you, for instance, you go to the store, like the fruits and stuff like that. You grab cherries, and you see it every day. People go out and they're grabbing cherries, they're eating plums as they're putting it away. They got pesticides in it, they got wax that's on that stuff, and the older you get, your system is not the way it was when you were 20 years old. So what you have here, because it's a month supply, right?
A month supply. Yeah, it runs about $45 a month. It's based on your body mass index. Because you can go to the store, you can buy omega-3 fish, and you're going to see on the label, take 2 a day. But you take it home, and your husband's like 250 pounds, and the wife's 125. So one's underdosing and one's overdosing. This is based on your body mass index. So it's a scientific formula. It's something incredible. They have the number 3 research and development in the world. It's not only this product, but this one's phenomenal. What you're going to do is you're going to blood spot test at home. It's pricking your finger, 2 drops of blood, sending it in, starting right away on this, and then you get your results back, and 99% of the people are out of balance. I mean, we had one guy who was out of balance 116 to 1, and the normal healthy range is 3 to 1. So this guy's like 116 to 1. And so you start taking this, and at the 4th month, you retest again, and the numbers are coming back right in range. 97% of the people that come back on the second test are in range on omega-6 to omega-3. Omega-6 is inflammation, omega-3 puts out the inflammation. The problem is, in the USA and the world, the omega-6 is just too high. We have a lot of silent inflammation going on in our bodies. Not a good thing. It's just you got to get your cells in that 3 to 1 range where they can absorb nutrients, and you'll start feeling it. It's just amazing.
Really? Well, we have a mutual friend, Michael DeSilla.
That's right. Michael put this all together, got us together and everything.
Mike's out of Miami. I go back with Mike 40 years. That's
Right.
how long I know Michael. And great real estate agent out of Miami. I mean, not Miami, but
Daytona.
Daytona.
Yes, sir.
And he flies in. In fact, he's going to be flying in for November 8th.
For your show.
Yeah, he said, do I get comped? I said, Mike, you got the money. No, you can pay.
I love everybody's looking for a comp.
Yeah, those days, I said, come on, Mike, reach into your pocket,
There
buddy.
you go.
No, but Mike's a great guy, and he's the one that told me about it, and then he's the one that told me about you. You know what I mean? And which I think is fantastic. Now, when the people take it, as things change, they have to change their eating habits. See, that's a lot of one thing you have to understand. A lot of people say, oh, I can do this and I want to eat what I want to eat, you know. I think you have to change your eating habits and what the sugar and sugar count. Now, not everybody's like me. I'm on that, I have my kayak, you know.
Okay.
I'm 73, I could still, anyway. I'm out there exercising, I'm staying in shape constantly.
Absolutely.
Most guys today, they can't walk up a flight of steps, they're in their 30s. You say, let's dash out, let's see what you got. They'll be out of breath by the time they hit the end of the block.
Right.
So, for the younger generation, because this is not only for people like my age, because you want to cater to people that also, from a younger generation, from the ages of say 21 and above. Am I correct? Was that good for them too, or is it just a certain?
I got a story of a friend of mine.
Go ahead.
Her husband's a doctor,
Right.
In an emergency room, and he never even heard about the omega-6 and 3s. And so he finally tested. He came back 25 to 1. At the 4th month, he came back 2.2 to 1. But they have a daughter, 16 years old. She came back 41 to 1.
Really?
That high. So the kids, they're not impervious from this situation that's going on.
Now, this is not mixed with anything. It's just like a tablespoon, or is it a teaspoon? How does that work?
It's measured. It's measured. You'll get a little shot cup, and I'm on 10 milliliters a day, and I mix it up with some water and get it down. What it is, it's the fish itself, and it's the polyphenols from the olives, so you get the both combination. And the problem with the fish oil on the markets right now is they clean it with solvents, and they get all the bad things out of it, but then they take the polyphenols out of it too. And then they inject it with like a vitamin E, and then you're taking that supplement other than ours, and it just floats around your system and it's not doing anything.
Right.
In fact, it could be doing more damage. These guys found a way to take the fish oil, clean it, get all the impurities out. Now this is in a region of the world where the waters are really clean. They clean it, get the mercury out, everything else. There's very low amounts of it, and then they lock it in with polyphenols from the olives. The olives, the young olives, not when they're older where they're blackened. They're young olives where they have more polyphenols. And polyphenols are they put out the inflammation in the body.
Okay.
It just,
Now, John, a lot of people would say, what does it taste like?
that's a great question, man, because people are like, oh, I'm not going to swallow fish oil.
Right. Well, that's, I'm going to give you.
You're right.
They had, in fact, they have that coffee now, the mushroom coffee, and I said, it's $45 for it. I went on Amazon to get it. I said, I'm not a coffee drinker, but in the morning I'll have a cup.
Right.
And I didn't like the taste. I bought it, I took couple sips, I went,
Right.
not for me. So what are we looking at?
This comes in flavors.
All right.
Lemon, this is the one I got right now because the scientists recommend lemon for me, but there's other flavors too. when you take fish oil, you're going to start, getting the burping and burping up the taste and everything.
Right.
With this, it
Doesn't do that. Now,
do
this comes in, you said they have to prick your finger, so is there a box that it comes in with all the stuff? Because you said it's got to be mailed in. Is this it? Let's take a look at it.
It's the balance test. It gets mailed in.
You got that, Anthony?
It gets mailed in. It gets sent out to Oslo. There's a laboratory out there that's independent from Zinzino.
Right.
And they've done so far like 1,500,000 testings. And testing, like I said, 90% are out of balance. And after the 4 months, they're showing that 97% come in balance. So the product testing facility, they deal with Harvard University, they deal with Cambridge, there's some other major universities, plus other laboratories that they deal with in the USA also. Now the testing is anonymous, and nobody knows. Here's the card right here. It's just based on a number. Anonymous, non-traceable, so everything's private. So you get your numbers in the beginning, when you first start. It takes about 30 weeks to get the numbers back. Then after 4 months, you test again. You put your numbers in. I don't want to show my numbers, but that's all the card is. Put your numbers in, and you get your results back. Next month, they're coming out with the leaky gut test.
The leaky gut test.
How about that one?
What the hell's the leaky gut test?
No, man. You'd be surprised, man. Let the doctors and scientists talk about that, but a lot of people, yes, leaky gut. A lot of people in the USA, they have discomfort in their intestinal area, and the bad flora is getting out into the blood system, and it just kind of wreaks havoc on the body.
Really?
Yeah.
You know, it's funny, John, because like I said, Mike and I, we go back, Mike, the seller, 40 years.
Yes, sir.
I went back for my birthday, I went back east, and I seen people I haven't seen in 60 years.
Right.
And I looked at these guys, and my heart broke, because we're the same age. You know what I mean? Who's got colon cancer, who has lung cancer, you know what I mean? And these are guys that I went to school with, you know? And it kind of like broke my heart, you know, I'm trying to say to see that. And these were rough, tumble guys, and now they're broken down old guys, you know what I mean, just praying
Right.
to do things. And that's why, you know, when I hear stuff like this, I've been very fortunate in my lifetime, because and I'll always protest my love for Jesus Christ, because there's people that are out there. You can see what happened yesterday with that kid that they killed, that boy. They shot that kid, and that girl that they killed, nobody helped them. It's a bad world we're living in. I'm going to be honest with you.
Yes,
it's a
sir.
very bad world we're living in. And people need to make a change. People need to do something. And I commend you, and I commend Mike, to come out with something like, if this could help somebody, because the most you say, let me give it a try. What are you going to do? You know, people, you go to a doctor, they say you got stage 4 cancer. We're going to give you chemotherapy. Now all of a sudden, you know,
You're searching and looking.
now you're searching and you're looking for stuff.
Right.
But what I like about this, it gives the people, ladies and gentlemen, an opportunity to try it, just to see the levels
Right.
of where you're at. Because like I said, I'll be honest, I never heard anything like that.
I haven't either.
You know what I'm trying to say?
2.5 months ago, I never even heard about omega-6 and 3s. Never heard of it.
I never heard of it all. But when Mike told me about it on the phone, and he said, Mike, I'm telling you, it's great. You know, if it could help you get your body straight.
Your
know what I'm trying to-
cells.
Your
Yes, sir.
cells. Now, they called you, right, for this product?
They'll call me to get it all started, and we got a whole team to help people. If they have questions, we can get them over information. We can get them videos showing them what's going on in this arena. And yeah, people really need to take a look, because if you can show the next one here, you can see you don't know what's going on inside you, and that's what Time says, Time Magazine, and it's basically the omega-6 and 3s.
Well, you know, I got to tell you something. This day and age and what's going on, it's important for people to take care of themselves, because most of these kids are drugged up out there since they put that cannabis. Most
Right.
of these people are smoked up, you know what I mean? Pilled up, drugged up. That's the generation of, unfortunately, that's the generation of today. Charlie Kirk, the one who they just killed. So there's your answer. There's a 31-year-old kid, and I got to mention him, because it kind of broke my heart to see that, because that's what happens when you can't reach somebody. They reach to violence. You see what I mean?
It broke the nation's heart.
Well, you know, I got to tell you something. A lot of changes are going to come about. John, you got to keep your faith. Listen to me one time. I don't know what faith that you believe in.
I put my cross out underneath there, but go ahead, sir.
You got to stay there because there's people out there that are evil. There's a lot of evil people that are in this world today. And you could see what has happened. Like that girl that they killed that girl. There was 5 people on that bus. Nobody even went to help that girl. You know what I mean? That's what society has become. No one cares. So I commend you, and I commend, is this out of Switzerland?
Sweden.
Sweden.
Yes.
Okay, this is out of Sweden.
Number 3 research and development in the world, and this is only one. This is a flagship. There's other things too that I can't say the words and stuff because FDA, FTC, but just did a little research on it, talk to us. And there's mind health, there's gut health. The gut test coming out, leaky gut test next month. Leaky brain test is coming out too. They're working on that too. They're kind of way ahead of what the Western side is doing.
Well, I think that's marvelous. There's no words to thank you. I'm definitely going to bring back the people, the scientists you asked to be on. That's why I wanted you to come on first.
Yes, sir.
You know what I mean? Because what we do now, since in our new studio where we're at, you know, we're
Right.
Vegas Voice, we'll do a split screen and bring them on.
Absolutely.
So they can go a little bit further. So ladies and gentlemen, for the people that are out there that so far has watched the show so far, give him a call, take a look of what he has to offer you. Give it a try. You know what I'm trying to say to you many times, you go to lunch today, it costs you $60 for lunch. So for a $45 program, give it a try. You know, they're going to give you a little shot on your finger. They're going to come back and they're going to tell you what the reality is. So,
The
Mr.
Mediterranean diet in a bottle is equivalent to eating 30 fish a month and 300 olives.
Really?
Yes.
Well, I hope they're Italian olives.
Actually, they're from Spain.
They're from Spain. John, thank you very much. You
God
are a
bless
super
you,
nice
sir.
guy, and I want to
bless
bring you
your
back
heart.
again.
All right.
I really
appreciate
mean that. So, ladies and gentlemen, I want you to stay tuned. Don't move. We're coming back with James Allen. James Allen did 31 years. He was on death row. Wait till you hear this story. We'll be right back, everybody.
Thank you, Michael.
My pleasure.
All right, sir.
This is the Vegas Voice magazine. Have you seen it? This magazine is made specifically for senior citizens in Las Vegas, and it's absolutely free. Inside this magazine, you will find articles about things to do in Vegas. You can also learn about health and wellness, like this gentleman who went to see an eye specialist because he couldn't stop squinting. Turns out he had cataracts, and now he can see better than ever. And if you're a senior citizen, you can get all sorts of cool discounts just by showing your senior ID. There's even articles about dating and relationships. It's never too late to find love. Just ask this happy couple. They met through the Vegas Voice. Whoop. The best part is that this magazine is that it. S delivered straight to your home, and it's S-free. This is a great way to support local businesses and also get some awesome deals. So what are you waiting for? Get your copy today before it's too late.
Hi, everybody. We're back. Mike Leonetti here. I have a gentleman that's with me that was in the war with me. We were together. This man saved my life. He's in my book. A few weeks ago, I was on the Ed Bernstein show, and I talked about a story about a gentleman named James Allen. Well, this gentleman wrote a book. It's called Not My Chair, James Allen, A Journey from Death Row to Freedom. You can get this at Amazon. It's all over. He did 32 years, and he was on death row. Ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, let me introduce a very special friend of mine that I owe my life, because he saved my life for something that he asked me to do. And in the interim, he paid me back in a very special way. James, thanks, buddy.
Yes,
How you
sir.
feeling?
Good seeing
You
you,
still
man.
got hands of steel, kid. What is it? What's broke your old man's hand? What is it with you?
It's good seeing you, Mike.
Oh, thank you, man. You know, on the Bernstein show, when I talked to him, I said, ask me the questions that people want to know. And I want to hit you, not physically,
Yeah.
but tell my audience what happened. What did you do? You were 19. You committed murder. Tell my audience, what the hell happened, Jim?
Well, Mike, you know, it's still vivid in my mind. You can never let it go. Something so horrific and tragically that happened. But I was a kid growing up, you know, west side of Las Vegas. And being a kid, you want to get out and adventure and see things and, you know, learn the war or learn the environment that you're part of. So became a knucklehead, you know, hanging out with the local kids in the neighborhood, and had the flickster walk up to me one day and go, "Hey, you want to make some money? Easy. You scared of guns?" No, I wasn't afraid of nothing. So decided to learn how to use a gun. My first gun was a 32, little 32 revolver, and I worshiped that thing because I thought it was a god. You know, you can make people do anything. And people see a gun, they're afraid of it. But becoming possessed of guns and a lover of guns led me down a dark path. I had a friend approach me one night, and he liked burglarizing and robbery and things of that. And so that got my juices flowing, you know, and hey, I want to see what this is about, you know. He would go out and come back and unscathed. Nothing's wrong with him, you know. So he took me with him one night, and we went out, and he knew that this particular home had a safe because he had inside connections on homes that were being built with safes and stuff like that. So we went out with him. He didn't have a gun, but I had my gun with me, and we persist to do a home invasion or a home burglary. He assured me that no one was in the home, and when I got there, the homeowner was there, waiting, with a gun. And so it's just by a blessing of God that I'm here today, because he could have took my life, and he had every right to take my life. But God spared me and showed me something through his death and my ignorance and just zeal for doing things wrong, the wrong way. God showed me that I'm going to spare your life, but I'm going to put you through some agony. And I went through some agony. I did 30 plus years in prison. And 4 of those years were on death row. And as a young man sitting on death row, I learned a lot. I seen a lot. And I had a chance to experience some things that most young men that look like me, you know, my race, never thought that it took place, you know, in the world. But once you have been fingerprinted and you've been part of a system that even though you're guilty, you're still seeing parts of it
Right.
that a kid shouldn't see. You know, I'm in a grown man's environment. I wasn't even 21. But I made the 12th person sitting on Nevada's death row in 1981. Jury of my peers came back with the death penalty. And I had a crafty attorney, and he told me, you know, this is a scare tactic, and I hope it's scaring the hell out of you, because you took a life. And I thank you that, you know, because I confessed to it, but even though I went to trial, because of the first couple of attorneys I had, they, well, you're guilty, but we think we can get a jury to go less than first degree, go less than, you know, so I did it. And the judge was most understanding. I went through the appeal process, and I was able to go back in front of the judge. And this time the judge gave me an opportunity. He said, I can put you back in front of a jury, and they can give you the death sentence, or I can give you life without the possibility of parole and spare your family, spare the victim's family of all this stuff that we're going to go through again in picking a jury and going through a penalty phase. So I took the life without, and prison became my home for the next 3 decades.
That's amazing. You know, being in prison, when you got out of death row, how did you feel when you not got out of prison, but when you got off of death row?
Well, I felt, you know, 4 years it went by, and it felt like reality had left my fingertips. You know, for 4 years I stood and looked out of a window over at farmland, you know, cows and animals grazing, and that was my picture of the world. That was the only view I had of the world unless when I go on visit or things of that nature. But in my cell, I watched these dumb animals in the snow, the heat, just stand there and just graze on. Why would you stand, you know? So, I would talk to the animals, you know, but every day I would, okay, hello cows, you know, and that was my reality. But coming off of death row, and something else happened, Mike. While I was on death row, something amazingly happened, and I shared this with a pardons board proceeding and the governor at the time. You had teachers from the Washoe County area, where Carson, Nevada is located, but that is Washoe County. You had teachers that would come to death row because there was 4 of us that were under the age of 21. We were just teenagers. And they would come and bring us a curriculum and say, hey, even though you're sitting on death row, I believe you can get a GED. I believe you can get a high school. And, you know, you would look at these people and go, there's a chamber right over there waiting on me. Why would I care about a GED?
And that was the gas chamber.
Yes, gas chamber.
That was
That's why my book is called Not My Chair. Neither one of those, you had 2 chairs sitting in the chamber. But you had these educators that would come in from Reno and Carson City would want to, you know, do mathematic problems, government, you know, English. She would, you know, and it was amazing. But, you know, coming off of death row gave me a whole different perspective. I thought I was on a college campus when they put me on a medium yard.
Really?
Yes.
Well, you know, you see the world today. You know, the generation of today. You see what they did to that kid, Charlie Kirk. They killed that guy, that girl on the bus. Nobody even helped him.
Yes.
What society has done. And what's amazing with you, and I said in the beginning of the show, how you saved my life.
Yes.
Because you literally saved my life because there was a hit on me. So, you know, many times I'd come on television and I went on the Bernstein show talking about, it's easy for me to say my story. Ladies and gentlemen, here's a man that walked the yard with me. Here's a man, this man right here. Tell him the story, how it started, where it was at, the guys, what they thought, so forth and so on. It's all yours, Jim.
Well, you know, Mike, you know, meeting a guy like you it's almost like meeting a person that you think you would never meet, a celebrity, you know, just your charisma and your character, your personality. Even in prison, you were still the same guy. You know, you wasn't this scary type of guy or this guy, you know, they put me here for no reason. And no, you walked in with your head high, and right away you said, I'm innocent, but that's not why I'm here. I'm here to do something, you know. And you walked in and to a chapel in a little chapel in the middle of the desert, and you brought such hope to men who have never even thought about acting, playwriting, or anything of that nature. And you brought it in a way where it was God. You made us see that we're going to do biblical plays, but God is at the front. I don't care what God you worship, but here's the play in front of you. If you can read it and understand your part, then this is what I'm doing. And you took time with everybody. And so I noticed this standing back from afar, because I wasn't part of your plays. I'm not an actor.
Right.
But I watch you from afar.
And you heard things from people.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Oh, yes. And so I had, at that time, I had gained the trust and of the administration to do events with youngsters and things of that nature.
While you were in...
While I was incarcerated.
Incarcerated.
Yes. They even allowed me to put a band together. And yourself, you're a musician yourself, but they allowed me to put a band together to travel from prison to prison with a life without the possibility of parole. And it was amazing. So when I met you, and you were doing things like this, producing and directing plays in the chapel, let me see who Mike Leonetti is and what's going on. And we knew at that time there was different other programs coming up that the prison was going to allow the black race to, to enjoy.
Right.
And one of them was Black History. And so we had a little committee, myself and several other guys, and they were going, well, this guy's doing the plays. Let's see if he'll do a play with us. And they go, well, I'm not going to approach him. I'm not going to go. He's a white guy, and the white race ain't going to go for it. So James Allen had to approach you,
Right.
which I did.
Which you did. And I remember that day like it was yesterday. You came in. Do you remember who you
Yes.
walked in with?
So it's
That
like,
office was really small, and
Yes.
between you and 3 other guys, I said,
Yeah.
"Okay, this is my demise.
What
This
is going
it.
on
What
now?
the hell's
What am I
happening?"
facing now?
Right.
And we shook hands, and I go, Mr. Leonetti, you're doing a great job here, and I don't care what you're here for, what you did, or whatever, but we would like for you to direct a play, a black play. And you said, let me think about it. And you thought about it.
Yep.
And you came back and you said, let's do it. I've never done it. Let's do it. Let's see. And you started bringing in guys, and these guys.
Well, there was 5 plays you asked me to write, so that was
Yeah,
Black
but-
History Month, and
But
we.
the Black History one started it off. That's why I'm starting with this one.
Okay.
Because after this one, you had no problems with
No.
the rest. This one, you took a lot of slack.
Yeah.
From not only the white race, the black race too. Because they felt you were leaving something out, or you wasn't doing this. But at the beginning of it, they put a hit on you, and I don't even know if you knew.
No, I didn't know.
See, I knew when the hit was supposed to take place and everything, and this is just prison talk. And I'm glad that we can have this talk because not in a million years I thought that I would be out sitting on the Mike Leonetti show talking about, how we met in prison and,
Right.
and how God brought this together. I'm not afraid to talk about God and put God in there. I'm not a real religious man. Well, I'm this set, and I'm this. No, let's just talk about a God. There's a God.
Right.
And so he put it in my heart that no matter what, Mike is going to do these 5 plays. He agreed to do them. The first one is the Black History, and no one's going to touch a hair on his head.
Well, they don't care doing now because all my hair's gone.
Listen, and I had some of them, Mike, I had some of the meanest and toughest guys that I walked that yard with, and out of respect, for what you've done and what you did with young, impressionable young men, every race. But there's black young men out here today that owe their success to you. Spanish young men, black young men, Caucasian young men. You just did it, bro. And I don't normally pat people on the back. I'm not a yes man. I'm not a check man for your success or whatever, but I tell the truth and how it was.
Do you remember, I mentioned it, I don't want to lead you into this, because if you don't remember, you don't remember it. But when the play was over and I was trying to get back to the cell, you called me back, and then how many guys were in that day at the gym?
Well,
and they were all black guys. There was not one white guy in the whole place.
You're talking anywhere from 15 to 1,800 men.
Right.
Packed the gym to come watch that play.
And
They wouldn't have, and you tried to sneak out on me. You just tried to
Right,
get
I
out
said I wanted to
quietly.
go back.
And I go, no, stop Mike. And I told everybody in that gym, when you see him, shake his hand. And they applauded you.
Yes.
And I think you started crying like a baby. You had tears in your
I
eyes.
did. I was touched because I had 1,800 guys. Because you have to understand, and you remember me. I never backed down to nobody.
No.
You know what I said? Yeah, I might take a beating, but guess what? You're going to know you were in a fight when you got done with me.
That's true, Mike.
And I always stood my ground because you could fight one guy too. You ain't going to beat 8, 9 guys that walk into your cell.
Nobody.
And to get back to the hit, now there's a hit on me. You know about it.
Yes. I know.
What'd you do then?
The Aryan Brotherhood, skinheads, as we know them, and they're right to believe in what they want, and their code is their code. But they summoned me to the library that day, and I went. And one of the shot callers, I'm not going to call names, and he goes, "What are you doing, James?" I go, what do you mean? You looking out for a low life. You looking out for this. We don't care about this guy. And we don't want him over there with you guys because it's going to make us look like we're not, this. And I simply told him. He agreed. And once a man agrees, I'll go to the end of the earth with him. And that man thought about that, and he agreed to say, I'll do it. And he knew. He knew about you guys. You know about the powers on the yard.
Sure.
You know who had the power.
Sure.
So in order for me to walk out of that meeting, I had to simply break codes and go, we can go to war. This is how much this is important to me. Because not only is he putting on a play for inmates, we're bringing in people from the outside.
Yeah,
my mom is going to be there.
Yeah.
They have approved for the black community to come in and see where their tax dollars and everybody's is going. Because, Mike, you had wardrobe, they gave you stuff to make props. You put on a hell of a show inside of a prison.
Right.
And we weren't going to let nobody interrupt that. Nobody say no, nobody. So I had to take a stand that day, and if we had to go to war that night after dinner, that's what we were going to do. We showed up because they walked away. They didn't walk away in agreement. They just said, well, okay, we'll see you. So that night we geared up after dinner because this is a Mike Leonetti thing. Nobody's going to touch a hair on Mike, Now, once you left that yard, Mike, brother, I can't do nothing. So, but, we can laugh about it now, and like I said, I'm so appreciative of you, man.
Oh, no, my pleasure.
So,
people out there today, they look upon you. You're going to have people look upon you in a bad way.
Yeah.
You're going to get people that look upon me in a bad way. No matter what you say, no matter what you do, no matter how much, like Donald Trump.
Yeah.
He can cure cancer. That's how people are, And I always protest my faith because I was not. Because even Bernstein, were you a believer? I was a believer, but I wasn't. That wasn't my bag. You know what I'm trying to say to you?
That's right.
You got out. You humbled yourself because you deserve a pardon. There's no questions asked. I deserve a pardon, no questions asked for all what I've done, especially the wrong that was done. But see, me, I had a pair of cojones. I said, this fight just begun.
Yes.
And it's 25 years later, and I'm still in the media with a book exposing the people that were criminals in the judicial system. Remember, 25 years ago, everything was hush-hush. Today's a whole different ballgame. You see what's out there. The swamp is done. But I believe in my heart that the rapture is here. The coming of Christ is coming back. At my end of my show, I say, keep your faith above the Lord. Look at God. He'll never let you down. And like I said, everything that I lost, I got back. But the key is that I can never thank you for what you've done because normally you were saying, we're going to go to war over this guy. Over this guy, people are going to get hurt. But God touched your heart and touched many guys, because I was very well respected by a lot of guys. Jim, I don't have to tell you that.
That's right.
I was respected with a lot of guys on that yard. And let me tell you something, society is nothing compared to what those guys thought about you.
That's right.
You know what I mean? They might have said something under their breath. They might have said something in the chow hall. No one ever came to me face to face and said, I think this or that, because me, well, guess what? There would have been some rocking and rolling, I guarantee you that, till this very day. But that's society for you. You're not going to change it. And I think that your book is magnificent, And I never judge people for what they did to get in prison. I judge them for what they did while they were in prison. And you remember, James, I had murderers and thieves and guys, Crips and Bloods and Sereno and Pikes and Border Brothers. Every denomination, they would go in there and everybody would be segregated in the church. Everybody. And never once in 7 years that there was a problem.
No,
never once in 7 years there were problems. You never in one of my plays. You took your wife when she played. I did Rosa Parks.
And
how did you swing that?
That was the amazing thing. That even, let me say this, because I don't know if you remember that day, but there were a couple of the Aryan warriors that came. They were over by the weight room. you know how the gym was set
Right.
up. You could be in the weight room,
Right.
and you could be over there doing what you want to do, but in the peripheral of their eyes, I know they saw this magnificent show that Mike Leonetti put on, and with guys that they rub elbows with, every day. And these guys are acting. These guys, so for my wife to be a part of it, and she played Rosa Parks.
Right.
And you had the bus made and everything. The guys painted the cardboard and the bus, and she, and she loved it that, and that showed that men who are incarcerated, who are locked away, can still impact a community, can still be a part of what the vision was made for us to live in this world together. Just because we're in prison doesn't dehumanize me, I did 30 plus years and I don't have a tattoo. I don't have a piercing. I look just like a normal black man, and that pays off for me today, because I get jobs, I move in different areas.
Well, you're working right now. You got the band, and we got to talk about best ribs I've ever tasted in my life. Tell everybody where you're working at.
Well, I'm down at the Pawn Star, the guys that are on the History Channel, the dad, Rick, and the son, Corey, and of course you got Chumley.
Right.
And they have a barbecue, Rick's Rolling Barbecue right there on Las Vegas Boulevard. And he has a tavern that sits on top of the barbecue. And I play there every Saturday.
With the band.
With the band.
With the band. We came down. I was told Aunt, we got to go down and go see him. We had the ribs. I got to tell you something. They're the best ribs I've ever tasted. But you're also doing a lot of things with the youth. You're making a lot of changes, a lot of things that you've been in contact with governors and judges and different people. You made a change. You not only made a change in the prison institution, because let me tell you something, you could have went another way.
Oh, easy.
You know what I'm trying to say? But you were very well respected, which was very, very important. And what you're doing now, you know what I mean? You said, here's a guy that was on death row, all right? Death row. Got out of prison after 30-something years, and you are the same guy that I knew years ago because your heart never changes. There's an old saying, everybody's a teacher till trouble hits your door, then you become a pupil. People that like to spout out against guys like me and you, they never walked a mile in my shoes or your shoes. They don't understand. It's easy for somebody that has never been in trouble or got locked up or was falsely accused of a crime or committed a crime and had some attorney saying, you better do this, you better do that, or this is what's going to happen. Right. So it's easy for people to talk, this day and age. But it's guys like you and guys like me that make the difference in the world today to show society, okay, that people could change, people can be better, good, bad, or indifferent. You could have came out and said, the world owes me something. I could have came out and felt the same thing. And it was no easy task when I got out. I was 59 with 17 cents in my pocket. Today, well, I'm very well opulent, okay? It's a whole different ballgame today. But that's why I do the television show, to bring people on from holistic medicine and just people in general, for the people that watch, for the people that are interested, to bring you to my customer. And when I say customer, the people that are the viewers.
Yes. Well, it's one thing I can say, Mr. Leonetti. You're motivated to do something, you carry it out. You brainstorm something. You told me. You told me in prison that you're going to get out, you're going to expose these corrupt people who did this to you, and you want to have a restaurant. You want to have and you had already told me that you was going to do this. I didn't know that you was going to have it in an exclusive area where you had it at, but listen, anytime you can come home and start a business and hire ex-felons that you walk the yard with, and you've done that.
Yes, I have.
You've given guys opportunities that other places wouldn't because of their background.
Right.
What they were, you have done that, Mike, and that's to your credit. And I look at where I'm at today. I get a chance to talk with the governor, attorney general. I go to the pardons board procedures. And even though it's time for you and I to put our name in the hat, because you deserve a pardon and I deserve one, brother. You came back. We've been servants, and I think it's on the horizon. I think it's right around the corner because I haven't truly experienced freedom. To me, sometimes it's like a bed move. You know how they come to your door.
Well, they don't know what a bed move is.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. They come to your cell and they, hey, roll your stuff up, get all your stuff together. We're gonna move you to another cell. So it's a bed move, you know. So, being on parole, a lifetime supervision of parole, to me, it stops a lot of creativity and motion.
And
because
what you want to do, right?
Yeah, because I can't get a visa. You know, I can't leave the country, and there's so many places I want to go and tell my story. You know, this is my story.
Right.
This is my livelihood, and this got me through. These words got me through because now I'm out here doing it, and it's just so amazing.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, for the people that have my book, read the book, James is in the book. The story that we just told is in the book. You know, and I'm so glad that you had the time to come up to the studio this morning so I can share your story, and to thank you publicly in front of everybody for what you've done for me. God puts his hand on your shoulder, because if that did not take place, I assure you, I wouldn't be here today. So I like to say, if God is for you, who could be against you?
That's right. Because, you know, I knew you weren't going to let nobody hurt you, Mike.
Me?
So,
no, I'm the wrong guy. No one's going to put their hands on me.
So if you got to take somebody else out, you never got out, bro. You'd have never made it out of prison.
Right. And you know, no one ever in 13 years, because it took me 13 years to clean up a 20-year sentence, ever argued with me or let me tell you what I think. Nobody ever said nothing. And that was the reason for God. You know what I'm trying to say? Because sometimes guys that got life, they don't care. What are you going to do? Put me in prison? I got life already. They don't care. They want to get their mark. They'll send their torpedoes out. To do whatever needs to be done.
That's right.
But what you're doing for society today is marvelous. And to have you out, and I can call you my friend.
Yes, sir.
You know what I'm trying to say to you? You're the best. James, easy with them claws. You used to start digging maybe pools with them hands. Ladies and gentlemen, I say this all the time. If I had Aladdin's lamp and I had one wish to make, I would not wish for caviar or any special dish. I would not wish for dollars, yet dollars I have few. I wish to come to a studio, bring wonderful people, especially wonderful people like James Allen, so he can share his story with people like you. And also, ladies and gentlemen, let's not forget his book. Make sure you go and buy the book, read the book. It's unbelievable. And I say this all the time. If you're down and out and you feel depressed, look above a cloud. Because let me tell you something. Take it from a man like me. I love Jesus Christ. I'm proud to be one of his warriors. Okay? Don't let nobody fool you. I still got heat in these hands. And I'm proud of that. Right, James? We'll see you next week with a whole brand new show. You people are the best. Thank you so much for being so nice. See you later. Give a wave, James.